Hey there, Aubrey. How's it going today?
I'm great, Lindsay. How are you?
Good. We are here for a special bonus episode today. What are we getting into for our listeners?
Yes, we're excited to talk about this. Lindsay, do you ever find yourself in a group and you really want to participate, but you didn't feel confident with your vocabulary? I know this has happened to me.
Sometimes. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I know when I was traveling Latin America, speaking in Spanish, there were times when I did want to say what was on my mind, but I was worried. I just couldn't quite come up with the right precise words.
Yeah, or I'd even kind of try to think of what I would want to say and try and, have that sentence ready, and I just wouldn't be able to think of the vocab. This is a very common experience for many people learning a language, and we want you to be able to move from being a spectator, especially in group conversations, to be able to participate, to be able to jump in and connect.
Yes. Exactly. We want to be in the driver's seat of our own lives. I think that's what it comes down to, Aubrey. Don't you think?
Yes. It's really terrible to feel like you're being overlooked, whether that's in a social situation, maybe at a party or at work, to feel on the outside with coworkers or friends. When you want to feel connected, you want to feel like you're a part of the conversation.
Yeah. But in order to get there are certain things we have to do. We can't just say mantras and wish that it were true, right? We have to actually practice in the right way with the right plan.
Exactly, right? Knowing the right words and then being able to recall them fast enough and feeling confident enough to dive in and use them. All of these are skills that must be practiced. We can't just hope to have them and suddenly magically we have them.
Yeah. So what are our listeners going to get from today's episode?
Yeah, we're going to give you 3 tips that you can do to immediately jump into conversations. We can't, yes, there's a lot of work. There's a lot that needs to be done in order to know all of the vocabulary you want to know. There are things you could do if you're going to a party tonight to be able to jump into that conversation.
Yes, I love it. And at the end of the episode, we'll tell you about a special offer available this week only on our highest level fluency bundle. So we'll give you the link. We'll give you all the information at the end of the episode. So stay tuned in right here with us.
Yes.
So Aubrey, what is the first thing we can do then?
All right. Our first tip, is to don't overcomplicate. Don't feel like you have to use the biggest, most impressive words, right? Use simple words and then explain around any gaps, right? You don't need the perfect word. You can describe the idea. Native speakers do this all the time. Often the word's just on the tip of our tongue and we can't come up with it, so we sort of explain it.
And I love this idea because it actually has some side benefits. If you describe the idea instead of getting the exact correct word, you're actually going to improve your vocabulary more. Right?
Absolutely.
I used to have another business where we had students that we were working with, and we created an activity called Say It Another Way. And what the students had to do is they had to come up with different ways to say the same thing. And that helped fluency incredibly.
Yes.
Right?
That's such a great skill to practice, right?
Yes.
And this will not flag you as like a language learner or a lower level learner because native speakers do this. I did this just the other day when I couldn't think of the name of a show. I was like, it's the one with Tom Cruise where and I had to sort of describe the whole thing because I couldn't think of the name of it. We do this a lot.
100% native speakers do this too.
Absolutely.
Right? I do this a lot. It's just sometimes the mind just forgets the word and we go around circles, but then all this other vocab comes up. Right?
Exactly. So we're going to give you a couple phrases to do this. So first of all, if it's a noun, if it's like a thing you could describe, you could say, it's the thing you use to, and then just describe that, right? Share what
like
you do
make
with
pancakes or whatever it is. Right. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Or I mean the situation where XYZ. So that sets you up really nicely, these 2 frames to actually give that detail. Right?
Yes. And then like mine, if it is a show or a book or a podcast, it's the one where, and then name an actor, describe the plot, right? And let the other person jump in and help you remember the name of it.
Yeah, it becomes more collaborative, right? More connection-based, actually.
Yes.
Because what is connection in the end? I think connection is creating language together so you can share your lives. It's not one seemingly very smart person coming up with these brilliant words and impressing everyone else.
Exactly.
Right?
In fact, if you do that, right, if you're sesquipedalian, we've talked about that, using these big words that no one knows, that might kill the connection. Whereas this collaborative approach, it keeps you in the conversation. It gives you the confidence to jump in and participate instead of silently observing.
And it also kind of it lowers the nervousness, the anxiety, because imagine if you do come up with that brilliant, precise word the first time, then now everyone sees you as this articulate, smart person. And now you have to continue to pull that off for the rest of the party.
Nobody needs that pressure. We don't need that pressure. Set the bar low. I set the bar low for myself.
Let's just say set the bar differently, right?
There you go. Set the bar differently. Okay, let's jump into number 2, because this is so key. And it is to ask short, relevant follow-up questions. Remember that you don't have to add new information to join into a conversation. You can keep it moving by inviting the other person to talk more or interjecting something in a natural way.
And really, you should do this because they say people who are interested in other people become more interesting, right? So be interested to become interesting.
Exactly, right? If you do nothing but ask these follow-up questions in a conversation, and then you all go your separate ways, everyone will remember you as being someone that cared about them, that was interested in their story, that was participating in the conversation.
Yeah, and the truth is, it's shockingly rare.
I know.
to come across this. It's shockingly rare that someone is really hanging on with you and they do ask you, they want to know more, right? Often what people are trying to do, unfortunately, I don't mean to be cynical, but it is reality. They're just waiting. They're thinking about what they want to say. Right.
And we can't help it. We all have egos. Yeah. It's hard to fight it, right?
Sure we do.
But yes, be the person that's interested, that asks these follow-up questions, that makes people feel like you really care about what they're saying.
Exactly. So some things that we can say, again, these little interjections to keep the person speaking, give us more detail on their story. You could say, then what happened? Right?
Yes. Or wait, where was this? Right? Because often, especially if they haven't shared that detail, if they haven't shared where they were or what year it was, right? Yeah. Wait, when did that happen?
Right.
It shows not only that you're listening, but you actually want more details.
Right. Wait, when was this? Or wait, where was this? Right. So you're showing that you're trying to orient your mind into the context of the story.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
That's really good. Yeah. Or speaking about other people's reactions, how did he react? Right. You did something, the person shares that they did something, and then you want to know, it's like a cliffhanger. So how did he react? What happened?
Or what did she say? Right. Because when someone's telling a story, it always still should be a back and forth, but it's often up to the listener to make it a back and forth. Right. I do this really often. They're giving these interesting details. And if something is sort of surprising or I'm excited to know what's next, I'm going to say like, really? What did he say?
Yeah,
how did they react?
That's a good point, Aubrey. It's up to the listener to make it a back and forth because the speaker of the story is busy telling the story, right?
And it's often awkward for them to ask sort of like a question. They're telling a story, right? But you can ask interesting questions.
Love it. So good. So good. So what else do we need to know here?
Yeah, well, it's just interesting to think about why this helps so much, right? It requires very little vocabulary, just these simple sentences. And it buys you time to process language or think of vocabulary. So you're participating while also kind of giving yourself a chance to think of what you could say. So it's sort of just like a double-edged sword in a positive way. It makes you sound engaged and confident, keeps you having to be quiet. So you have something to say, ask questions until you have something to add.
Yes, 100%. As our listeners can probably hear, the famous Kiefer is making himself known. He has something to say about this topic today. Kiefer. So apologies.
He's like, I want to be part of the conversation.
He does. He really does. Good. So these are really important pieces. And then what would be number 3, our third tip, Aubrey?
Yes. 3 is to be in a course, to be learning vocabulary very proactively. And we right now have this bundle available, our B2C1 bundle, that most of you out there listening, if you understand 80% of what we say here on the podcast, these courses are perfect for your level.
Yes, 100%. I love this. And I like this bundle in particular because this is a high level bundle, right? If you're envisioning being able to kind of break down and solve the problems that you have worried about kind of your whole English speaking life, this is what this does, right? Moving through that plateau, becoming the powerful English speaker that you've always envisioned you could be. This is the bundle for you, Aubrey.
Exactly. You're going to learn from real native interviews. These are unscripted conversations, amazing vocabulary and and grammar with fluency activities so that you can build confidence and fluency in a very engaging and entertaining way.
Yes, 100%. And we can save up to $200 as you join, if you join within the deadline. And that is going to expire this Sunday at midnight. So Aubrey, we want to recommend that our listeners go ahead and get right into this course. Anything else we want to say in terms of a takeaway? Well, we need to know where to go to get into the course. Yeah?
Yes, go to allearsenglish.com/B2C1. So letter B, number 2, letter C, number 1 to get into that bundle. This really is the way to overcome that plateau that a lot of you at this level reach, where you feel yourself not progressing, but you're not sure what to do. This is what you need. This course bundle will push you past that plateau.
Perfect. I love it. And any final takeaways for the episode today?
Yeah, like you were saying, Lindsay, conversation is about connection, not precision, right? It's not about using big words, super impressive vocabulary. It's about having the confidence and the fluency to dive in and connect in English. And today's tips are going to help you do that.
Beautiful. So guys, going over to allearsenglish.com/B2C1, check out the bundle, check out the offer. It will be gone after Sunday at midnight. So you do want to take advantage to get yourself really set up for a solid year of learning. Between the B2 course and the C1 course, you could be done with this in 6 months, and you could be looking towards the C2 level within 6 to 9 months. I love that timeline.
Yes, I do too. I'm excited for you guys to move from observing conversations and feeling like you're an outsider to feeling like you are part of the conversation, that confidence to dive in and make connections in English.
All right. Really good stuff today, Aubrey. And thank you, Kiefer, for joining us on the episode. So we'll have a good rest of your day, Aubrey. And thanks for being on the show today.
Awesome.
All right.
See you guys next time.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.